All right, so the next lesson that we are going over is the egg tempera miniature. You are going to find in your supply pack a tiny piece of masonite, brown on one side, white on the other side. You're going to paint on the white side of this, but this is the size of your painting. I have one example here that I want to show you. It's one that I did not have photographed, so I couldn't put it in the lesson itself, but here is one example of this project done very nicely. Okay, so let's talk about egg tempera and then we'll get into the nitty gritty. All right, so egg tempera is known for its linear qualities and capacity to produce jewel-like paintings. While it was once a popular medium that reached its peak during the Renaissance, egg tempera fell out of favor with the rise of more versatile oil paints. However, a few modern painters have embraced the medium, adopting the labor-intensive practice of creating both the paints and the panels. Some have even taken more experimental approaches. In some ways, egg tempera shares more commonalities with pastels and colored pencils than with acrylics, oils, and watercolor paint. Because it does not lend itself well to blending or mixing color, egg tempera relies on cross-hatching, overlays, and glazing. Glazing is going to be very important for this project to achieve dimensionality. What is egg tempera? Egg tempera is composed of egg yolk, powdered pigment, and distilled water. Now, for us, we're going to be using egg yolk, and we're going to be using already mixed up tempera paint, because basically what already mixed up tempera paint is powdered pigment and water already mixed together. So we're just taking that part out of the steps. Okay? The egg yolk serves as the binder and holds the pigment together. The addition of water turns the paint into a usable paste-like form. So you can read through the rest of this if you'd like. This kind of goes through what egg tempera is all about. A couple of things that I want to make sure that I point out to you. It does say in here, egg tempera cannot be stored for future use. And that is a big no-no with egg tempera. And the reason that's a big no-no is if you're not using a color and you want to save it for the next day, basically what's going to be happening is you're going to be breeding salmonella on your palette. So you don't want to do that. So that's why we're doing this in miniature form so that you can pretty much get this, you could probably get this painting done in like one sitting. Okay, it's not going to take you very long. All right, so here are some examples of egg tempera done in the Renaissance time period. Kind of interesting subject matter, but very biblical. All right, so these are more modern paintings done in egg tempera. And if you look up close on this, this is where it was talking about glazing and cross-hatching. You cannot layer, layer, layer. You're still going to be able to see through this paint a little bit. So the idea is if you put a layer down, let it dry, put another layer down, let it dry. Building up color on top of color is going to help you achieve those opaque looks, the look where you can't see through. All right. Here is an example of one done last year by a student of mine. I don't know if you guys remember Megan Odell, but she did this painting last year, and I think it turned out really nice. But you can see the texture that it kind of provides in that painting because it's up close. And that picture is it's about the same size as this little guy too, so it's not very big at all. Okay, vocabulary: egg tempera, tempera mixed with egg yolk to make the pigment shiny. Renaissance is the movement in art of rebirth and renewal. Artwork was more of a renewed shift to biblical subjects. Miniature is painting done on a very small scale, usually less than 5 inches. Yolk is the yellow part of the egg, and glazing is building up layers of color. For this project, you're going to need your tiny brushes that I've included in your pack, your 2x3 piece of masonite that's already been primed for you, a water cup, 1 egg yolk. So you're going to take the egg, you're going to crack it, you're going to separate the egg yolk and the white. You're going to throw the white away. You're going to put the egg yolk in a little container with a lid so that you can save it. Your tempera paint that you should have picked up in your supply pickup, and a palette. Now, you can use anything that you've got lying around at home, a paper plate, a piece of cardboard, anything that you can mix on. And do not I repeat, do not use one of your parents' nice dishes. Use something old that you can throw away. All right, number 1, choose a detailed subject matter, something like a landscape or something recognizable like an animal. Draw the bones on your masonite in pencil. So on here, you're gonna draw the bones. Obviously, super, super tiny. Number 3, separate your egg. Remove the yolk from the whites and store the yolk in a container in your fridge between use. It will only last a few days. If you were in my classroom, I would give you little cups of yolk and I would put them in my refrigerator at the end of class. And at the beginning of class, I'd pull them out for you each day. This project, I can't imagine, will take you longer to paint than maybe 1 or 2 30-minute sittings. This is going to go quick, okay? So you want to use the egg yolk pretty quickly. It's not going to last beyond a couple of days in the refrigerator. So you want to make sure that you separate, use it, and move on. All right. Number 4, begin painting. Your project is so small, you only need small bits of paint. So do not pour tons of tempera paint out on a palette. You only need little bits. Once you've mixed the color you need, mix it with a small amount of yolk at about a 50-50 ratio. So 50% paint, 50% egg yolk. Use it right away because you cannot save it. Build up layers of color, that's called glazing, on an area rather than laying it down in heavy amounts. When you are done working for the day, wash your brushes. Very important, we don't want to have salmonella. Throw out all the paint that you mixed and save your egg yolk only in the fridge. Leaving the egg tempera on your brushes will cause salmonella. Number 6, complete the whole painting within a few days and discard the yolk. Let the painting dry. Fill out a critique sheet when you're all done. Grading will be out of 100 points like usual. Your design is 10 points. Your painting technique is 25 points. Your overall painting itself is 25 points. Creativity, 10 points. Craftsmanship, 10 points. And your critique is 10 points. Submitting your work. Write your name on a small slip of paper. Lay it next to your painting and zoom in. I want your painting to be so zoomed in that I can really see the detail. So like that. Okay? Photograph it and upload it with your critique sheet to Google Classroom.